Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to another video, and today we're going to talk about the other two Esper units on the first batch, I would call it, because there's going to be more Esper units later. For now we're going to talk about these two that are not currently available unless you pull them from EX tickets, which I've seen some people do. I've seen some people on my friends list already have them, even though they're not technically on banner yet. So, I'll tell you how they are now. So let's go ahead and get into it, shall we? Now there's a minor error with her STMR. I should have put it as two-handed. So don't get too excited. That's one-handed. It's two-handed. So don't get too excited about that. But 178 magic is decent, but the evoke damage thing is really not. So this is not really an STMR you should be really chasing. It's just mediocre, in my opinion. So let's get into the positives of Draconian Princess Fina, or Bahamut Fina, is much easier to call her that. And actually, unfortunately, since the Jake and Lid and two Fina units haven't come out yet, we have not gotten the side story involving Fina and Bahamut. There's a side story that involves them, so it makes more sense that these two would be together. They race together. It's like a weird story where all the characters are racing or something, but that's how they come together, other than like that they're, that the dark version knows Bahamut and stuff like that. But so that doesn't really make sense, this comparing right now. There's no lore for it yet, but there will be. Anyways, sorry about that. Anyways, she did get a lot of good buffs, so she's a lot faster, but still not fast enough. I had thought that she got like Esper Gauge at the start of battle, but it's just limit burst gauge, which is still good. It's just that she would have liked to have gotten 10 Esper gauge at the start of battle instead, so she would have been able to get the triple cast faster. So she's faster, but still a little slow. She does have 100% Beast on Undead Killer, which is okay. Not really that super relevant. Neither of those races are used that much. And yes, she is very strong when you can set her up correctly in terms of rotation and how to use her and get the Esper Gauge up as quickly as possible. You also have 150% TDH, which is quite nice. Magic TDH, of course, which is quite good. I gotta say, it's quite good. So already she's starting off pretty strong. But like I said, she's gonna be having only dual cast for a long time because you need to get the Esper Gauge ready. So as an off thing, actually, her TMR is pretty good because it does give Esper Gauge 2 to 3 per turn. That's quite nice for, if you're not even going to be using it. Because there's a trial that'll be coming up in the game that has one of the main bosses is Zone Worm or whatever it's called. And you need to summon Espers during Threshold or you get snorted away. So what the meta was back then is to use some of her TMRs to get the Esper Gauge up as quickly as possible. And that's definitely doable with this TMR. So make sure if you got multiples of her, make sure you're Moogling those. If you haven't already, make sure you're Moogling as many of her TMRs as possible. So our main focus is bows. She gets a lot of passives from bows. So unfortunately it's kind of hard to make her 200% true to wield, which would be far better for mages. Been proven already with Diesel having like insane HP and stats and stuff with true dual wield. TDH just isn't that good for mages. There's no variance applied. So I guess if you guys don't know about that, there's no variance applied for magic TDH, so it's just for EPing. It's really not that good. And she only has 50% true to wield, so it's even harder to build her on 200%. And also, her move to get triple cast, the killers do not get applied to the evoke damage, even though it is an element at least. At least it's an element tied. It's tied to an element at least, light and dark. So I've got the rotations down there, and they might not be 100% correct, but I went through it myself, and I assume that this is what you would normally do. I generalized it as quickly as possible. I made it as tight as possible so you could read it. So there you go. So obviously, for normal meta, it really depends on how you can get her like set up. properly and if you can find good friends. She is an A. In normal meta, she's an A. If you can get her set up properly, and also in Dark Vision, she's an A, of course, because CWA Mage in Dark Visions has 2 elements that you could use, so that's an easy slot in for as a mage. Dark Visions meta, definitely an A. It would have been an A+, but it's still hard to get triple cast going on her on turn 1. And even on turn 2 it might be hard, so... That being said, let's go ahead and move on over to Akstar. Our Supreme Deva Akstar. So his STMR, it's alright. Katana, 180 attack, and 50% attack. So if you already have the regular Akstar STMR, probably just use that instead of this. It's just not really incredibly powerful. His TMR is okay. His TMR is already alright, so I mean this STMR is just... I would honestly figure like it's kind of mediocre in my opinion. If that was 50% human killer, I would say it's a lot better. And it has like a lot of longevity, but by itself, no. 50% attack passive not really needed. Anyways, moving on. So, a lot of human killer, which is really nice. 75% passively. And he does have human killer buffs, so you can get him to easily get him to 300% before battle, and then you get some more on top of that. So, sorry about that sniffling. In case anyone does not know this rule, basically, if you get 300% killers before battle, you can add on top of it with more. So, let's say you have 300% human killer, now you use this buff, now you've got even more on top of it. I think 400% now? I think it's 100? I don't remember. I know he has human killer buff though. 200% TDH, and all you need is Cloud's TMR to get going with that situation. He has 3 elements, which is really varied, really nice and varied. Fire, ice, and dark, so he has a pretty good spectrum. His CD, his cooldown is buffed, so now he gets 20 limp burst gauge, whereas on the JP side he did not have that, so that is a good thing. I think it helps him with a lot of potential now that he can get that on turn 2. He can limp burst to get those mod buffs. Yeah, and just like his normal version, Akstar requires a bit of knowing his kit and knowing which moves to use to get the mod buffs up correctly. So he is kind of like one of those units where you need to know what you're doing in order to use them correctly. And the cons, there's a few. Some decent minor cons and some stronger cons, like you still need to get that limp burst, so on turn 2 you have to use the limp burst. You have to get those mod buffs. Especially since the cooldown allows you to have 20 limp burst crystals, which is required for him to use his limp burst, which is very nice. And Ashura just isn't that good yet. She's not a 3-star, so maybe someday when she becomes 3-star, she'll become a lot better. But for now, she's just not really that interesting or special yet. But soon she might be better. On top of that, no 120% perils. So he only has 100%, and you need to even unlock those, which is just you don't use the cooldowns. So you even get 100% perils. So normally he would only have 80% if you don't unlock them, which is not having 120% perils. I don't know. It's really not that good. I mean, obviously, it's been proven even with the the CNY duo units, they don't need 120% perils to do good damage. At the same time, it would have been nice to have 120% perils, because that would have made him a lot stronger than he is. Probably would have put him up, higher than Infernal Fire Rain. But for now, he just only has 100. Maybe in the future he'll have 120. That being said, I've got his rotation down here as best as I can. I don't have him on the JP side. I've never used him, so I just assume that this might be something you would do. Obviously, you would do both cooldowns to get that 20 limp burst gauge, and then you have triple cast ready. Turn 2 limp burst to get those mod buffs. Turn 3 to the imbue of your choice. Imperil is unfortunately it's all three of his imbues, so you don't have to choose. And then of course True Mirror of Equity, Ashura, so you get the more mod boost on top of that, and then start on turn 4 just start chaining. Do his main chaining move. Once unlocked, it becomes a huge modifier move. So there we go with that situation. Alright. So, regular meta, I'd say B+. No 120% perils. His killers are good, but only one killer. Whereas some other the other Esper units are getting 2 killers at least. So there's that. Gets an A for Dark Visions because he has 3 elements he can choose. Sure, he has a bit to get going, but you probably just ignore the Lone Burst requirement when you are in Dark Visions because you need to do as much damage as possible. And I've seen people use them in Dark Visions anyways. I would say an A+ in Dark Visions because these 3 elements are the things that is the best at because you can bring them to 3 different kind of fights. Now, if you guys don't know anything about Dark Visions, I've already got a complete guide for Global that I released a few days ago, so go ahead and watch that if you haven't. Thanks for watching, guys. Please give a like if this helped, or dislike if it didn't help, I guess. Tell me in the comment section which unit you want to go for on all 4 of them, or you're just skipping all 4 of them. Let me know if you already have them, and if you are watching to the end of the video now, type in hashtag Akstar. Hashtag Akstar will be the keyword for the ending of this video. Thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.